Krishnadetti, everyone, and welcome back to the EaglePod. I'm your host, Lorena. We're so excited to be back with a very special guest today, Valton Vuciterna. Valton is a junior at Michigan State University studying finance at the Broad College School of Business. Outside of school, he's passionate about the history of Albanians, and he's also exploring opportunities in the finance industry to make a meaningful impact. Valton, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for, taking the time to sort of record this with me. Thank you for the nice and kind introduction.
Yeah, of course. So let's start at the beginning. If you could just tell us about your Albanian background.
I've always been like asked, am I a foreign exchange student? Was I born over there? I'm assuming it's because of my slight accent, but no, I was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Um, Born to and raised by two Albanian parents from the city of Rahovec in Kosovo. In their youth, they found refuge in the United States after the war in '99. And this, of course, created the foundation of my identity, being the son of two Albanians who grew up in one of the most chaotic periods in European history. So it had a profound impact on my psyche growing up. You know what I mean? I'd always hear stories about back home and what it was like to grow up in such a time, in such a period where um, prejudice was prevalent. And same thing with, good example is my neighborhood here. Um, there's like eight houses, all from Rahovec. So I guess I grew up in a very Albanian environment, so to speak.
So growing up, which part of like Albanian culture or values felt most present in your life?
Most definitely family. I think that was like the thing
Mhm.
drilled into me the most. My dad would always say like, you know, both of them, my parents actually, my mom and my dad, they'd always reiterate that at the end of the day, all you're gonna have left is your family. You can make as many
Yeah.
friends as you want. Eventually, somebody's, gonna stab you in the back. Something. It's
Yeah.
a bit cynical. It is a bit cynical, but I think that they're right. I think that that is one of the values that we should hold closest to us
Yeah.
because that's your first support system, and that's also going to be the last support system you'll ever have, sort of thing. And over time, I've come to understand that uh, it's a very vital characteristic of our culture and our community that should be preserved.
I feel like our parents did such a great job instilling those values, Albanian values, and keeping our culture alive, even though
Mhm.
we are living, in a different country where it's hard to like assimilate and
Yeah.
learn everything there is here while also keeping your culture intact and like preserving that history, which also kind of brings us to the topic of you being involved with Arbonne magazine.
Mhm.
What kind of drew you to that, and what are you hoping to, share with everyone?
I was actually reached out. I was reached out by the editor-in-chief himself, Indre Ljoja, my good friend and my colleague. It's a funny story because I sent the SAPS group chat. If anyone doesn't know what SAPS is, it's an Albanian academic organization. We had like a social group chat. This was about a year and a half ago, and I had sent one of my projects that I had worked on a few years back. It was sort of a simplification of the Kanun of Lek Dukagjini. I tried to make the information provided in the text a lot more digestible because the language that is utilized is a lot more archaic, and people, the Albanians of today would probably have a difficult time understanding it. So I sent that, and that kind of piqued his interest. And I hadn't really heard of Arbanon before, but he, asked to call, and we spoke about it, and he thought that I'd be a great addition to the team. So I guess my work impressed him, so to speak. And since then, I've been helping him develop and grow the magazine.
Nice, nice. What is your favorite article that you've written so far?
The one that hasn't been posted yet.
Okay.
This next one, excuse me, this next one is going to be the one,
Okay.
just because of the sheer amount of time and effort that I put into it. But I think this next one is going
Okay.
to
You
remain
want
my
to give
favorite
us a
for a
little
while.
like sneak peek, secret preview?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you the title. Well, I guess I'll give you the topic subject is the assimilation of Pjav and Gutsi. So it's a very hefty topic.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, nice. And then you're also so balancing Arbanon work, doing articles for Arbanon magazine, and
Hmm.
also being a student at MSU. How is
Hmm.
your experience there? What are your sort of career goals?
I think that it's very unique. You know what I mean? I kind of went into it expecting it to be different,
Yeah.
but not too different from, high school or, the schooling experience that I already went through. But no, it is vital. I think that everyone should go to college. I'm not one of the types that is like, don't go, don't
Yeah.
go to college, that you're just gonna be a part of the matrix type of thing. I
Yeah.
think that college opens doors for everyone if you're willing to put the work in. I think that um, the people you meet, the stuff, not the stuff, but the life experience that you
Yeah.
garner and you gain from college is just it develops your character a lot faster than if you hadn't went to college, for example.
Yeah.
Balancing schoolwork on top of finding time to eat, finding time to hang out with friends, you really do feel like you're an adult, especially because you don't have anyone to hold your hand. You
Yeah.
learn fast. You know what I mean? And balancing that with Arbanon hasn't been too bad.
Okay.
I like to stay on top of my schoolwork.
Mhm.
That's why I'm there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I didn't want to be there, I wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But whenever I have downtime, whenever I have like a few hours to myself, I try to do whatever I can in terms of bringing our ideas at Arbanon to fruition. But schoolwork is first. That's what I want to reiterate.
What part of Albanian culture do you feel most connected to or passionate about preserving?
I have two on equal standing
Right.
because I am a lover of music,
Hmm.
and first and foremost, I'm a lover of Albanian music. I myself play a few Albanian instruments, Albanian folk instruments. So it's like I live and breathe this kind of stuff every day.
Okay.
I go to sleep listening to, like, how would you say in English, folk songs type of thing. Um, I think it's a very important piece of my life because it helps me connect to my language. That's how I developed my skills in Albanian, learning songs, essentially learning more complex language, more archaic language, stuff that I wouldn't have learned, conversationally with my parents or my siblings, sort of thing. Another piece I feel very, very passionate about is, uh, I guess the best way I can phrase it is the connection to my ancestors. And this is like a common thing amongst Albanians. You have people who can name 10, 11, 12 generations of their direct male ancestors. Um, no, not to toot my own horn, I can too. And I think it's a very important thing because it ties you, no matter where you are, it ties you back to the homeland. You know where you came from, type of thing.
Yeah.
You know where your dad, his dad, and his dad, and his dad, where they lived, breathed, walked, spoke, ate, drank, hunted, you know what I mean, had families.
Yeah.
You know exactly where you can go to and feel that connection directly to the soil. And that's why I'm so passionate about preserving this sort of thing. That's why I'm so passionate about getting other people to be interested in the same sort of ideals. Because at the end of the day, without that, I don't think you could really call yourself an Albanian if you don't take into consideration that sort of thing.
What are you hoping to build for yourself, contribute both personally and professionally?
Definitely, I want to be able to develop some sort of stability early on. I think risk taking is good,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, longevity wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I want to be able to build a stable life. I want to be able to have a family as early as I can. Um, and I feel like that sort of stability will provide me with the opportunity to do what I want later on. I think this is the most vital time. I'll speak from a male's perspective. I think this is the most vital period in a man's life. This is what sets you up for the future. And people talk about, oh, you don't want to enjoy your 20s, that sort of thing. And I do enjoy my 20s. I
Yeah.
just turned 23 weeks ago. I'm enjoying it already. You know what I mean? I'm not a workaholic,
Mm.
but I take care of what I have to take care of to. Um, Leisure time is leisure time, and then all the rest of the time that you have to yourself should be focused on developing yourself as a professional, as a student, that sort of thing. But yeah, first and foremost, I want to reach my goal of uh, finding a stable career,
Hmm.
starting a family, getting my master's, that sort of thing. All the other stuff will come on later. You know what I mean? I'm not too worried about it right now because I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Okay, nice, nice. Any contributions you thinking about, making back home? I know a lot of people want to go like back home and
Yeah,
they're starting non for profit or some other businesses.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. My eventual goal, this might be a little bit idealistic, but I would really love to move back and live the rest of my life there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
For various reasons. It's not too complex, but I would like to contribute there meaningfully. You know what I mean? I want to give back to my community. I want to buy land. I want to do all sorts of stuff that I feel like will help not only myself and my family, but my community. I care a lot for the people in my city. We're very connected in Drahovets, and I feel like that's one of our best qualities. And coming there from here with experience um with a concrete network, I feel like I can do a lot in terms of contribution, in terms of investing, in terms of reputation, all sorts of
Yeah.
things.
I always think about, doing something as small as I can to help people back home. And what do you think one of the biggest issues we have back home is? I know I see like my dad has like the news playing and all
Yeah,
that stuff. He likes to stay connected. So I'm always like listening here and there. And I feel like there's just so much going on back home.
yeah. Biggest problem I think stems from greed.
Hmm.
I think that post-war, especially in Kosovo, I don't know, I do kind of know the situation like Malzi and Shqipni and all that, but
Yeah.
uh in Kosovo especially post-war, it's just a lot of what was meaningful, a lot of what held up the structure of Albanian society has been degraded. And I believe that stems first and foremost from materialism. Because Kosovo, in the last 26, 7 odd years, that wasn't intentional, by the way, I'm sorry. But it has changed completely. Completely. The Kosovo today and the Kosovo of 30 years ago,
Yeah.
two different places. It's developed so rapidly, and I don't think that people were able to adapt just as rapidly as their environment had changed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this resulted in people becoming exponentially rich, developing apartment buildings, developing, investing in real estate. Um, the people who, left into the diaspora and came back after working, you know what I mean? Uh, this resulted in a lot of wealth being brought into Kosovo. But the caveat there is that because these social structures, these traditional values have been eroded and corroded, so to speak, people started developing jealousy and hatred and longing, that sort of thing. And I feel like that was the nail in the coffin because once that sort of thing permeates the people, it's not going to leave. You know what I mean? It might after a few generations of educating people on what it means to be a decent human being.
Yeah.
But instead, people are, eyeing their neighbors' material goods and they're getting jealous over it and they wish them bad things. And that's starting to break us as a people. 100%.
You think that's starting to break us now back
Oh
home?
yeah. Oh yeah.
What about here in the States?
Here it's a lot more mitigated because the yeah, it's a lot more mitigated because America's more meritocratic to a degree, if you understand what I'm saying. Like here, if you put in the effort, you're gonna make it,
Yeah.
realistically. Over there, it's a bit harder because you can work hard, but when fortune doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way type of thing. America's different because it's America. It's endless opportunity here. It has its issues. I
Yeah.
will admit it does have its plenty of issues, but if you're not lazy, you will be able to make it. I firmly believe in that. So it's a bit different here. Everybody's starting off at the same position. You know what I mean? To a
Yeah.
degree. There's all sorts of exceptions, but I feel like here, especially Albanian Americans, we've adapted perfectly. You know what I mean? We've brought the work ethic from our culture,
Mhm.
and then we sort of took the optimistic mindset of American culture. And those two things, they pair beautifully, I think.
It was a great description of that. And yeah,
Thank you.
I agree 100%. As a community, we're very welcoming and very
Hmm.
helpful. And we're just like, here are all the resources, here are the tips
Yeah.
and tricks, here are the hacks.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I can't tell you how many like GoFundMes
Yeah,
have been started up.
GoFundMe's. Oh yeah, the
Hmm.
GoFundMe's are crazy. I've been seeing them everywhere, and I'm like, oh, that
Hmm.
is so awesome how we're so supportive and willing to help. And whether it's like
Yeah.
$100 versus like $5, at least we're like supporting all
Subtle
we
talk,
can.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're a family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be you from wherever, from whatever city, from whatever region. End of the day, you speak my language, you
Yeah.
carry the same blood that I do. I gotta help you out. I'm
Yeah.
obligated.
Yeah. And then one of the things that I also hear about back home is when people who's finished their degrees, either as a lawyer or their master's degree, and it's very difficult to find a job over there.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
such a lack in opportunity like that. So a lot of people finish their degrees and they're just like working as like a manager and like a
Hmm.
random company and not even like working towards that.
The nepotism, that's a big part of it. It's just it's a poison that unfortunately it's hard to get rid of. It's hard to, sort of remove that mentality. Because here, people came here and they realized you can't. American managers won't stand for it.
Yeah.
And so that we took that and I think we utilized it beautifully. I think we utilized the ethic here very well. And that's what makes us stand out, especially in the diaspora. Like I'm a bit like it sounds like bias, but I genuinely think that we are the most developed, the hardest working of the Albanian diaspora, in comparison to the Albanians in Germany, the Albanians in England. I think that we stand out in that regard, professionally and behavior wise, for sure.
One thing like I do want to point out though is I know and even EaglePod is like an Albanian American
Hmm.
podcast trying to bring our community together. But I do think a lot of us make Albanian like our full personality.
Yeah, here, I was actually gonna talk about this because I agree. I
Yeah.
agree because how do I put this? Because I say identity, you have identity in your
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
And sometimes, well, a lot of times, the Albanian identity seeps into people's character. And in my experience, this really only happens to people who aren't that connected to their culture. I feel like they sort of see a need to supplant their character, their lack of connection to their homeland with their overall ethnic identity. Um, I feel like the meaning behind being an ethnic Albanian has sort of been corroded in the modern era. A lot of this I associate with, increasing modernization and westernization. Being Albanian carries a lot more meaning than, just throwing up the eagle or listening to the last batch of sloppy summer songs. Uh, what's the word? It's been very commercialized, if you
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
For myself, being an Albanian means that there are things required from you constantly.
Mhm.
Discipline, right conduct, trustworthiness, orientation towards family. It means knowing where you came from, bearing the names of your ancestors, that sort of thing. Like, not to say that I think that these characteristics are missing from Albanians today, but most definitely we have begun to lack in that regard. It's and then it also globally it makes us look a bit corny. I will say, you know what I mean? Like if you don't have anything else to talk about besides being Albanian, then you're a very bland human being, I would say.
Yeah, it's funny because I hadn't like realized this until like I started the podcast and I kept getting more like Albanian style
Hmm.
like reels on on my Instagram and
Yeah.
all that stuff and just connecting with everyone and um while I do know like EaglePod is, focused, we want to highlight the people that have done amazing things or are working towards those goals here in the
Hmm.
podcast and bring everyone together and help create that community. But on the other hand, I do see that like just like the fact that you're Albanian makes I guess some people make that like a part of their personality and just like
Yeah,
everything revolves around that, which is great. I'm not like no no judgment.
full
I'm
judgment,
I'm
full
that way.
judgment. No, full judgment for real.
But it's just like it's nice to have something else to talk about.
Being Albanian, you have to live and breathe
Yeah,
the values that you hold dear.
yeah,
Like I said, it's not enough just to put a flag in your bio. That doesn't mean anything.
yeah,
People back home don't do that
yeah,
because they know they're Albanian. I think it
yeah,
stems from some sort of insecurity
yeah,
in themselves. Like I see it especially from, this is not to dish on them, but
yeah,
especially from Albanians who don't really know the language. They supplement that lack of culture, lack of, connection to their identity because language is very important.
mm,
It is essentially, it is how you see the world. It is how you describe the world. And so when they don't have that, when they're missing that, they supplant it with things that they think matter to their identity.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
mm,
But you have to live and breathe it. You can't just say, oh, besa bes, whatever. That means something. That's an oath. That is an oath of the soul. So when you give something like that, or when you believe in something like that, you have to mean it. Otherwise, you know,
yeah. That's like
there's
a
nothing
main
left
part of
for
your
you.
identity and the language here
Literally.
as well. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't I do have friends who don't, speak Albanian. So
Mm,
and they're Albanian. And so
mm,
and they love like learning the culture and trying to like t speak a little bit more Albanian at home, but just they were just never really taught the language or haven't had a use for it. And like I kind of I feel for them too, because it's just like what are you gonna do if your family like never taught you the language? So there's nothing that you can really do, but I guess take little steps as small as
mhm.
they are to like be proud of your culture, which is better than doing nothing, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's better than doing nothing, but I do agree with you as like when you know the language, it gives you a new perspective on life and
Mm,
it just kind of gives you I feel like my Albanian side is a little bit different than my like American side.
mm, 100%. But yeah, I agree 100%. Every little step, I tell people all the time, especially because I'm on the executive board of the Albanian Association at Michigan State.
Yeah,
Um, come I tell people, come to the club.
yeah,
Every time I meet an Albanian on campus, come to the club. Don't don't feel a type of way. Don't be insecure. Don't be scared. Don't uh don't be worried we'll judge you if you don't know the language. Because unfortunately, that is like a common phenomenon I see, especially from
yeah.
the Albanians near Detroit. A lot of
Mhm.
them are not taught the language for
Yeah.
God knows what reason. I'm not sure. I guess their parents saw the necessary to assimilate faster, maybe
Yeah,
because of
that's
the
the main
negative.
reason, the
Yeah.
assimilation, I feel like that I've heard from some of my friends. They're like, if you focus too much on our culture, it's gonna hold you back from being
Mhm.
successful here in America. Um, but
Yeah, I don't like that mentality
yeah,
because I think it stems from the parents' negative association with back home. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like the communist era, they sort of associate that sort of thing with what they went through, the suffering that they went through, which is, like you can't mitigate their suffering. It was a horrible, horrible thing to go through,
hmm
but I just don't appreciate that these parents aren't putting more effort into teaching their kids Albanian. And in my opinion, in my what I've seen,
hmm
sorry, not my opinion, but what I've seen,
yeah,
it's a lot more in the mainland community. The all the Kosovars I grew around, the
mhm.
kids of Kosovars that I grew around, they all know the language. Like, how do I say? I was about to say like a bird. It makes more sense than Albanian. Anyway,
You can
we
say
all
it in
know the alphabet.
Albanian. It's
Si
Albanian
bilbil,
podcast.
si bilbil, yeah, si bilbil. They all speak it like that. They all
Okay.
speak it fluent. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, I tell these people that don't know the language at school,
Yeah,
like, yo, come. All that matters is that you're gonna try. If you try,
yeah,
it's all the better. As long as you try, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. if you put the effort in, even if you don't know the language, if your parents didn't teach you, it's okay. You got the internet,
Yeah.
access to Albanian textbooks. There's really no excuse not to learn the language. You know what I mean? I think it's a very important thing.
Yeah. Do you know of any good Albanian resources?
I do actually. I forgot the name. I think it's called Discovering Albanian. It's like a red textbook. You can order it online. It's like $50.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a great starting point.
Okay. Any favorite Albanian songs for people who want to get started?
Oh. See, everything I listen to is like 2005 and older.
Okay.
So I'd have to let me look at a playlist and I'll give you some picks.
Okay.
Thank you for asking, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. First one is Zeshkanja Ime by Veli Sahiti. This is my favorite song ever. Uh Moj Selvije by Zini. Very good song from Jakov. We got Kënga Ime by Hekuron Krasniqi. Fotografie by Blero. Uh, Anything by Najmia Pagarusha. It's a
Mhm.
bit older. It's a bit more refined taste, but I love her. And then I'll give you one more, just for time's sake. Apran Vera by Bujar Chamilja.
Okay.
Hmm.
He's Shkodran. He threw in
Yes,
a Shkodran singer.
of course I had to.
So, what do you think when you think about the future generation of Albanians? What do you hope they inherit, but beyond language and tradition? And we hit on like our values and stuff, Besa.
Hmm.
Anything else that you want to add to that?
Knowledge.
Okay.
Knowledge. I think that this knowledge stems beyond your ethnic identity.
Mhm.
Um, First and foremost, it's on us to sort of develop that desire. Knowledge is very vital for your growth as an individual, first and foremost, but also the growth of the community. If you don't pass knowledge on, it could be anything from tradition to values to history to stuff that is required of you in the professional environment. That sort of thing. Experience needs to be passed on. Lessons need to be passed on. That is the that is the way that a community develops. That is the way a community grows. That is the way the community builds upon itself. And you shouldn't feel the need to withhold knowledge because realistically, take our not our parents, but some people, for example, some Albanians didn't have the chance to go to school because of the war or because of um, they had to escape communism at an early age, that sort of thing. And they were cut off, they were barred from the opportunity to garner knowledge. And then it was up to their kids, like us, for example, who grew up post-war and post-Enver Hoxha. It was up to us to start developing that sort of ethic. It's an ethic to desire knowledge. And that's going to be something that we pass on to our kids, and hopefully they pass it on to theirs. There should be an innate hunger to want to know, to want to learn, to want to experience that sort of thing.
I agree. And then what message would you like to share with young Albanians, trying to stay
Hmm.
connected to their roots, or young Albanians who have just like come to the States looking for a better opportunity? What's like a good quote you want to share? Just like short and sweet
Oh,
so they know. Valton said.
Valton said, this is one I say a lot. Life is good. Very simple, very sweet. What that means is do not lose hope because your reality realistically is formed by your thoughts. If you come here from over there, or if you're a young Albanian student
Yeah.
and you're cynical and you're pessimistic, you're not going to get anywhere. That's not going to get you nowhere. You understand?
Yeah.
I urge people to be as optimistic as they possibly can because the only bad thing to come out of optimism is the fact that the only bad thing to come out of optimism is the fact that you didn't think about being more optimistic, in my opinion. Because there's always something. further to look forward to. I
Yeah.
don't think people go far enough in hoping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to sort of set yourself in an environment where your positivity, you know, develops and grows. I think that especially like in terms of goals, you should be working hard, of course, to achieve them. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you're not gonna get anywhere if you don't have the correct mindset for it.
That's true. 100% true. And I think it's good to think like setback that you have or any difficulty that comes around like about your life because not everything's going to be happy and rainbows and shining and
Right.
sparkly every time. So you have to know like when things or situations come about that you don't want to take those and just try to find the positive in every situation and
Hmm.
kind of ask yourself, what is this experience teaching me? How can I be a better person because of this? Your goals change
Hmm.
or your life plans change or something that you want to happen. Like you said, you want to get married, but what if you don't get married until
Right.
you're
It
like
wasn't
30?
meant for me.
What are you gonna
Yeah. You
do?
can't do anything. You still gotta get up and go to work the next morning. You know
Exactly.
what
So
I'm saying?
you just have to look for the positive in everything that happens and just know that in the end it's going to work out for the best. So make that
100%.
your strength.
That's
Um,
right.
and then I do have our fun, fun rapid fire questions. Favorite Albanian food?
Cervish, you probably don't know what that is, but I love it.
I don't. Can you kind of describe it real quick?
It's like a gravy.
Hmm.
It's essentially gravy.
Hmm.
And then you can either pair it with chofte or like chicken drumsticks. And
Okay.
it's mainly made in like the western part of Kosovo. So
Okay.
regardless, it's the best food ever. You gotta
Okay,
try
I'll
it.
have to try it. One Albanian word that has no real English translation.
Oh, this might take me a second.
I know there's a lot. Or
Uh,
like,
m
or yeah, go ahead.
expression. I was
Mhm.
gonna say like like when people go aiha,
Yeah.
like when they throw up their hand and say
Yeah.
some onomatopoeia. There's
Yeah.
no translation for that sort of thing, but you know immediately what it means.
Yeah. A song that instantly makes you feel Albanian. You just want to get up and vala or something.
Uh, Conga e Selman Kadris, if you know, you know.
Okay. Traditional or modern?
In what sense?
Just in in every sense.
Okay, traditional, traditional.
Okay. Finish the sentence. Being Albanian means you can make it funny.
Being Albanian means honor. Yeah, we'll
Love
go with
that.
that.
Love that. American coffee or Turkish coffee?
Coffee piece. We'll
Okay.
substitute that. Yeah.
Okay. One Albanian habit you'll defend forever.
There's a few. One Albanian habit that I will defend forever is most definitely the family structure.
One stereotype about Albanians that makes you laugh.
We have flat heads because I don't have a flat head. I don't know. I've never seen one. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know.
Mine is, do you know those memes where they're like every Albanian couple or every Balkan couple and it gives the guy all
The Shrek and then like the pretty girl, yeah. That is true though. It's really
yeah.
accurate.
And then finish the lyrics. Jamadani via via.
So e madhe është Shqipnia.
Oh, dorza është Kosova, Shqipnia.
I think there's various.
Oh,
I might be wrong, but I know that's in the song. I know that's
okay,
in the
okay,
song.
it's in the song.
I think that's the second verse. I think
Is this like wait,
that's the second verse.
Jamadani
O
via.
so e madhe
Oh,
është
Shqipnia.
Shqipnia.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Resi zemër
Oh, yeah, yeah.
çiftelia.
Yeah.
No, that is the second verse.
That is the second verse. No,
Ah,
no, you're good. You're
yeah. You're right. That was the first verse. Mine was
yeah,
the
I was thinking
second
the
verse.
first verse,
Okay,
but still, it's part
perfect.
of the song, so you
Okay,
passed.
thank you.
You're Albanian.
I'm Albanian. Confirmed by Lorena.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been awesome hearing your stories and just, your thoughts on our culture and everything. So, yeah.
Thank you for having me. I know it's a weekend. You know,
Yeah.
we don't want to sacrifice the time, but I
Yeah.
appreciate the questions. I thought they were very well thought out.
Yeah.
Allowed me a lot of space to sort of talk about what I feel important is to talk about. So
Yeah.
very much appreciated.
Nice. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you.